I'm going to make a very simple textile postcard with a sunrise over a hill. What you need first of all is a little bit of something to stiffen the card. This is Vilene, craft Vilene, and it's what I'm going to use as a basis. I've chosen some pretty fabrics, green for the hill, gold for the sun, a little bit of sparkly blue for the sky, and some nice multicoloured red and orange to make the sun rays. I've also chosen some pretty threads. And this little piece of cotton fabric is to do the back of the card when we come to it. First of all, I'm going to start by laying down a piece of sky. Then I've cut my piece of hill so that I know where to put the sun. I'm just going to check, make sure it's big enough. And when I'm happy with it, I've cut myself a sun. None of this has to be very precise. It's just put it down and see if you like it sort of game. And then I've cut some sun rays, which I'm going to lay on to my sky until I'm happy with the arrangement. So I've made this in lots of layers. Sky, sun rays, then the sun, and then my green hill. And I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch all the bits down. You can pin if you want to. It makes it a little bit easier. But you're going to have to do this in layers. So I'm going to start by taking these bits off again and just stitching the sun rays down where I need them to go. Set your sewing machine for a small zigzag and not too big a stitch. It actually isn't very important because nobody's going to wash the end product. And stitch down all your little pieces nice and firm. Don't forget to take the pins out as you go. When you've sewn down all your pieces, if you like, you can do a little bit of decorative stitching on top, just to bring up the curve of the landscape. I like pretty threads, particularly multicoloured threads, as they're extremely good value, as you don't have to keep changing the thread. Then we've got it to this stage. I'm going to turn the card over and trim off the extra bits from around the edge so it's back to the size of the postcard. A proper postcard is 4 inches by 6 inches or 10 centimetres by 15 centimetres. You can make them bigger or smaller, but that's the proper size for a postcard. I'm going to put this down on the backing fabric and pin it into place. You'll notice the backing fabric's a little bit bigger than the postcard. If you cut it the same size, it's extremely difficult to get it to line up. So we're going to do a little bit of clever technology now to get the two pieces to join together. I've set my sewing machine to a straight stitch and I'm just going to sew around very close to the edge all the way around. Take the pins out again and I'm going to trim it off again to the edge of the card. Now I've got a nice clean piece of fabric on the back to write the address and to stick the stamp on. It's important when you send postcards to put a self-adhesive stamp on, or you may find you have to use a little bit of glue. The regular sort that you lick don't seem to work. I have been known to stand in the post office stitching stamps onto American cards, but that's another story. Now I'm going to set the zigzag again and sew all the way around to neaten off the edge. And for the very last stage, you need to draw a line down the middle and write postcard at the top. I make kits for postcards. These contain everything you need to make 2 postcards: stiffener, backing, lots of nice fabrics and some pretty thread. But they don't contain a pattern. I'd like you to design your own. Please feel free to make a sunrise card like mine, but do take an inspiration from the world around you, and it'll be all your own.